Hiking Apache Peak and Spitler Peak. Parking at the Spitler Peak Trailhead is 23.7 miles east of the junction of Highway 79 and Highway 74 in Hemet. The hike begins at a dirt pullout on Apple Canyon Road. The hiking difficulty rating is moderate to strenuous. The hike begins. Accessing the Spitler Peak Trail. The Spitler Peak Trail is a 5-mile-long gradual climb that ends at the PCT. Spitler and Apache Peak comes in view. The trail goes around the base of Spitler toward the Desert Divide. A nice grouping of lupins. There are some long climbing sections occasionally broken up by switchbacks. Some visible fire damage from a decade earlier. There are a few small creek crossings as well. Switchbacks continue to the Desert Divide. Approaching the Desert Divide and the PCT. Continuing to Apache Peak first. The PCT going north. Reaching the Apache Peak Use Trail, marked by a wooden pole. Approaching the summit. On the summit of Apache Peak. Locating the summit register. Now to reach the highest point. The Summit 360. Elevation, 7,567 feet. The summit register. Time to move on. at the junction. I continued on the PCT towards Spitler Peak, which is ahead. Adding Spitler Peak is another mile round trip. Locating a summit use trail access point. A faint access trail elevates to the summit. Approaching the summit. On the summit of Spitler Peak. The Summit 360. Elevation 7,372 feet. The summit shots. Beginning the long descent. First thing is getting back to the PCT. Then returning to the junction to continue with another 5 miles on the Spitler Peak Trail. The switchbacks are speedier going down. Trailside gets greener near the creek areas. Then, to descend the foothills back to the trailhead. Mission accomplished. The hike in review. From the Spitler Peak trailhead, I took the Spitler Peak Trail 5 miles to the PCT. I then proceeded north to Apache Peak, which is accessible by a use trail. I then returned south, beyond the junction to reach Spitler Peak, also accessible by a use trail. After visiting both, I returned to the Spitler Peak Trail to descend and wrap up the hike.